Hi, welcome to today's video, and on today's video I'll be continuing on the topic of the power of a name when it comes to matters concerning destiny. And today I'll be covering on Abraham, who got his name changed from Abram to Abraham. And as I said it again, that a good name is to be chosen rather than riches. And here when you go to Genesis chapter 17 verse 5 is when we see that the Lord changed Abram's name from Abram to Abraham. And it says that no longer shall your name be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, for I have made you a father of many nations. That the only thing the Lord changed from his name was adding a H from Abram to Abraham. In the Greek and Hebrew meaning, a H means the breath of God, or the breath of the Spirit of God, because God knew, or he had foreseen, the journey of faith that was ahead of him, because here God was trying to actually go into covenant with him concerning even his generation, concerning us who are now here, that he wanted to make his generation prosperous. And when you go to Genesis chapter 17 verse 1, we see that God actually didn't ask or request Abram to change his name, but it says that the Lord God appeared to him and he said that I am the God Almighty. Abram, walk before me and be blameless. That the Lord didn't ask for Abraham's opinion to change his name. There's instances where for the Lord would change our names because of destiny calling. Here Abraham's destiny was calling because God was going into covenant with him concerning his generation, concerning his life, concerning the season that was ahead of him, that the Lord was preparing him by giving him grace and the strength that would sustain him throughout this journey, because until 99 years he was able to walk before God and be blameless, because God had promised him a son. And he actually ended up, this was actually after he had gone outside of the will of God, but now God was actually coming into the picture and changing his season. There was a change of season because now he was about to walk into another dimension where the Lord was going into covenant with him. And the new season that Abraham was going into was a season of fruitfulness, a season of prosperity, because when you go to Genesis 17 verse 7 to 8, the Lord is establishing a covenant with him because of him and his descendants, and because he said that Abraham is going to become a father of many nations. Abram was not a father of nations. He was an exalted father, but he was not a father of many nations. But now here the Lord is saying that I'm about to make your descendants possess the land of Canaan. I'm about to make you possess land, possess nations. And for this season that is ahead of you, God was trying to give him breath, was trying to give him grace. And this means that the Lord will change our names out of our will because of destiny, because of the season that is ahead of us. And this is seen in God, because all that Abraham had to do was to say yes. The only thing that the Lord asked of him was to walk before him and be blameless, because God says, I am the Lord Almighty. I am the sovereign God. I need you to walk before me and be blameless, because the season is about to change. And sometimes the Lord will change our names because of destiny calling, because of seasons that are changing, and all we have to do is to say yes to your will. And that's why the songwriter says, my soul says yes to your will. We have to say yes when destiny calls, and all that will call to sometimes is a change of our name. And this actually reminds us that when God calls us to some seasons, especially seasons of consecration, he releases grace. Abraham didn't know that God was sending help to his forthcoming season, and this shows that God is very intentional with us, and that's why we ought to be very serious with him. And that's why he says that I will supply all your needs. I will supply to all your needs according to my riches and glory. That the Lord does not usher us into seasons where he has not prepared us. And this, Abraham was a good example, that the Lord, he went through a very, very straining journey of faith. For some of us who can do what Abraham did, and that's why he's the father of many nations, that people would doubt his God, that he would even question and doubt this promise that God gave him, this covenant. Is this really working? But at the end of the day, we see that Abraham was referred as a father. He's a father of faith. He's a father of many nations, that in seasons where the Lord ushers us into, he gives us grace, he gives us his breath. And sometimes that will require him to change our names, and sometimes all that can be a simple letter change. And that's why Abraham reveals the power of a name change towards destiny. From Abram to Abraham, the Lord poured his breath into his life. He poured grace into his life because of the tough time, the tough journey that was ahead of him. And thank you so much for watching. That's all I have for today's video, and I pray that you would desire that the Lord would change your name, and do not wait for the Lord to arrest your spirit for him to change your name, because we see the same with Abraham. The Lord did not ask for his permission to change his name, but destiny was actually calling. But sometimes God has to do what he has to do, and then that requires for us to say yes to his will. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video, and bye.